Welcome everyone. Welcome to the webinar for the UST School of Business and Management. For this section, we focus on the BBA Economics and the Bachelor of Science, Economic and Finance. My name is Siu Ken Wing, you can call me Wing. I'm the professor in the Department of Economics, and at the same time, I'm the UG program coordinators for ECON and ECO programs. And by the way, I want to mention, I also graduate at UST in 1995. Today, we also have two students, okay? One is Melody, the other is Williams, okay? Thanks for your coming to share the interesting experience of yours with the audience, okay? And here, to begin, let me emphasize one thing, okay? If you have any questions, okay, you can begin to type in now, okay? So you don't need to wait, get the first post, okay? So to begin with, let's talk about the Department of Economics, okay? We offer 3 programs, okay? One is the BBA in Economics, the other is BSc in Economics and Finance, and the last one is we cooperate with the Mathematics departments and we call that the Bachelor of Science, Mathematics and Economics. And today we focus on the first two, the BBA Econ and the BSc Econ. So what is economics? Traditionally, okay, economics talk about the allocation of resources. That means how the society make use of the valuable resources or scarce resources in satisfying people's needs. But as time passes, okay, economics as a framework have been borrowed by other subjects, other disciplines to study other human behavior, like marriage, okay? So you can say economics broaden and expand its territory, and so we have a new definition for it, and it is to study human choice under constraint. It follows, okay, the important or common topic study in economics field, for example, the individual's consumption decision, the firm's decision in production and pricing under different market structure, the policy impact of government, and others, let's say, like investment, employment, trade, growth and development, and central bank policies. So very important is why you should study economics. Well, I will put it this way. Currently, we are undergoing very rapid technological developments. We have the internet, we have the AI, we have the big data, all this kind of new creation, okay, reshape our economics environment and also the social environment. In this sense, the demand, the society's demand on the talents also changed to, for talents, they should have a strong ability in handling new problems. When I say new problems, why? Because the rapid changing environment, as I mentioned, new problems are more often to appear. So if you can only solve the old problem once, again, the value will be limited. The other is you must be able to have strong ability in working cross-disciplinary. What do I mean? Well, because when the society change also make the narrowly defined discipline disappear, okay? I mean, okay, the boundary for different disciplines also change rapidly. So you must able to know your own discipline and also the other discipline. The other meaning is you are able to work with the others, come from other disciplines efficiently. And also you should have the ability to think at the macro level, or we call the macro view. That means when you try to approach a question to solve a problem, you cannot just under the things piece by piece, okay? Instead, as a whole picture, you should understand all the interaction of pieces together. In this sense, it's more likely you can find the satisfactory solution for your problem. And I mentioned the big data and AI, and of course, okay, you should have the strong ability in working with the data, statistics, and the coding as well. So to sum up, okay, well, I mean the single skill set talent is already an outdated concept for the career success. So I would say, okay, economics provide an excellent answer to the changing needs of the talents, okay. the reason is it's more like a way of thinking than skill set. When I mention skill set, it's more knowledge based. Then when the scenario, when the problem change, you need a new knowledge. But economics is a way of thinking. That means that it helps you how to approach a new question. It will help you how to identify the key factor working behind, and it helps you understanding the interaction of them, and therefore more likely to find the solution. So that means, okay, economics, we are not trying to tell you under what scenario what happened, but instead, okay, we try to tell you under what scenario why this kind of human behavior happens. Okay. In addition, economics is quantitative training. When I mean quantitative training, it means we use data, number, and empirical evidence in our analysis heavily. On the other hand, when I mention quantitative training, it means we adopt the scientific approach. We try to understand human behavior by modeling of the complex world. And then we try to use the data to test our model. And of course, through such kind of solid training, economics can train you in your logical thinking and analytical mindset. And of course, okay, the use of the math and statistical truth in your analysis. And as a bonus, okay, it also a big advantage for your future study after your undergraduate degree. And then next, why you should study economics at UST? Well, I would say UST graduates are well received by the global employers, okay? I mean the global employers. Based on the ranking, you see 2018, the Global University Employability Survey and Ranking, UST ranked 16 in the world, okay? Globally, I mean. And you see it's #1 in the Greater China. And our department also is one of the best, okay? In the QS World University Ranking 2019, okay, for the subject economics and econometrics, our department ranked 26th in the world. Again, it's the #1 in the Greater China. And our department provides you guys a well-structured curriculum, a balanced curriculum in microeconomics, macroeconomics, and use of statistics in economics, which means it's econometrics. At the same time, we provide a large number of electives at 4,000 level. That means at the advanced level. So it means, okay, our departments can provide students a solid training at the broad sense, but no matter your interest, no matter your career plan, okay, you must be able to find suitable courses at the 4,000 level, at the advanced level. Our curriculum emphasize also a lot on research opportunities, because we believe that to develop students' real problem-solving ability for the real problem in the society is very important. So as I mentioned before, the ECON 4670 is a paper research-based course, okay, and every econ majors, no matter BBA econ or BSc ECOF, you have to finish it, okay, before you can graduate, okay. You have to write up a paper, choose the topics, okay, and then finish up your study. And other research initiatives, such like the Junior Research Fellowship, Independent Research Project, and the undergraduate research opportunities are all for you to develop your research skill. Well, last but not the least, okay, of course, okay, students also get the full support from the economics department. Each of you will be assigned a faculty, a professor as your advisor to help you in study life, your U life, okay. And we have the networking social function for you to build up the network. And we also try to hook you guys up with the industrial expert through the mentoring programs. Well, after all this, let's ask Melody, okay, why you are interested, why you find interest in BBA Econ?
So a little bit background of myself is that I actually took DSE Econ, Physics, and Chemistry, and also M2, which is Algebra and Calculus in high school. And then to me, I would say my relationship with Econ is like a love-hate relationship, because the part I enjoy is that when comparing to DSE Physics and Chemistry or M2, like the syllabus is relatively less demanding. But at the same time, if you want to get a very, very good mark in econ, like especially DSE econ, you have to spend a lot of effort and to really have your concept very, like you have to think through all the concept and do a lot of paper. And that's why it makes me kind of suffer from practicing econ. But, and another thing is comparing like econ to other subjects. I feel like econ is their concept is more observable in our society. For example, you can say the price for everything is maybe can be say based on demand and supply, and then it can be seen in the real world. But at the same time, I think that econ, like when we're studying in high school econ, I think there are a lot of assumptions, and it feels like I'm studying an ideal world instead of the actual world. So that's why I would say is a love-hate relationship. But after taking economics, microecon and macroecon in UST, I realized econ is more than that, more than just studying about an ideal world. It's actually providing you a way of thinking. And to me, I feel like studying in university, it doesn't matter which discipline, which major are you studying in, as long as you enjoy the way of their teaching and which you can learn the best to think. And that's why I believe econ will be my enjoyable way of thinking, because econ provide me logical reasoning, and then I would like when I study different parameters, I would know like which parameter change would make like their consequence will be different. And the other thing is their approach is simple for us to learn about the real world, because we start from learning the ideal case. We have a lot of assumption, and after we manage the idea, that we start to relax the constraint and then start to make it more complex and to make it more like the real world. So that's why I believe this way of thinking is suitable to me, and so that's why I choose econ. And maybe William can share his internship experience to you guys.
Okay, so as Melody mentioned, we will learn different assumptions and theories, and after that, in university, we will relax those assumptions. So after learning all these theory, we will try to apply them to reality. For me, I went to Singapore in the last winter semester from December 2018 to January 2019. I worked there in the Hong Kong Economic and Trade Office, which is also called the HKETO. And you may ask, from the picture, you can see that it is an office. It is an office in Singapore under Hong Kong government. And you may ask, why will Hong Kong government put an office in foreign countries? And actually, there are lots of these HKETO around the world, like in London, Berlin, or Singapore, and there is also a new one in Thailand. The main aim for these HKETO in foreign countries is to understand the economic and political developments in that kind of countries. So for me, as an intern in the HKETO, I was responsible to do this. And at there, I was a commercial relations and admin intern. And during the time there, I was responsible and had the duty to understand the political news and economic news of 3 ASEAN countries, and they are Thailand, Myanmar, and Vietnam. Through this internship experience, I learned a lot from different markets beyond from Hong Kong markets. You know about their developments and how will these emerging markets affect Hong Kong markets. And because of my study in economics and finance, which is a more quantitative basis, I was also responsible to understand more data. Like this was the data between Thailand investment with other countries. And because of my quantitative based major in economics and finance, I will need to do some calculation and understand the trend behind these figures, like calculating the growth rate year over year. So it was a really great learning experience to work overseas, because as you can see from the next slide, this one, you can see that I can explore a new community. Especially in Singapore, you face many different kind of people. Singapore is a country located under Malaysia, and there are people from India, Malaysia, China, and Thailand, everywhere. So you face a lot of new people and understand their culture. And in Hong Kong, this is a very, you rarely have this kind of opportunity to meet so many people and work with them. Furthermore, in working in a company or different institution, you can apply what you have learned from lessons to reality, so that you will be more understanding about what you have learned and the real challenges faced by real company. And beyond from this internship in Singapore, Melody will also share her experience in Hong Kong.
So I'm now William. I take internship in Smart Resources, which is a retail marketing intern. You may wonder why would a econ and JUPAS student would take something to do with marketing, but I believe that econ and both JUPAS enables me to think logically, and then and when I was told to do a business expansion in terms of a marathon sports online business, I have to start by understanding which indicators, which key drivers are important, and then when we have to collect market information, for example, the consumer preference, we have to think of like what questions to ask them. And then after asking the questions and after getting a lot of data, and that's where we have to do data analytics. We use different software to do it, but we are not just using the software, but we also have to think before we use the software. We have to think which data can be related to another to plot different graphs. And then most importantly, we have to visualize this data to the executive board of the company. So that's why me and the other interns, we are responsible for collecting the data and also tidying it and visualize it and present a recommendation based on our findings to the director of the company. And after our details and logical presentation, and then the board of director also believes that it is a way for Smart Resources to do expansion, and they will actually adopt some of our ideas. And I believe that it is the training of my thinking, logical thinking at HKUST that helps me to do well in this internship. And William will also talk about, besides internship, students also can join a lot of case competition to become more closer to our actual business world.
Yeah, so there are different methods for us to gain industry experience. So beyond from internships, the other method will be case competition. A case competition is a contest organized by different organizers and allows students to join. The students will propose a solution for different case, like the business problem. And as you can see from the slides, there are different kind of case competition, like the tap and go, CLP Power or Sino Group for hotels. So for me, in the February, I joined a case competitions organized by the Carlsberg. So it was a 24 hours case competition, and you will need to submit a report within 24 hours by your team. For me, the case competitions required the students to propose a solution to help them to penetrate the Western Europe market, which is a matured beer market. It was quite a difficult one for us because we are in Hong Kong, we are not really familiar with the Western Europe beer market. So it's quite a difficult one. And during that time, I formed a team with different students and different schoolmates, and we come up with an idea because of my experience in Singapore. When I was in Singapore, I found that there was a chain store selling chicken wings, and you may say that, what is so special with a chicken wing store? Well, they're selling chicken wings, the flavor by your mood and your situation. They will ask you about, are you happy right now, or you're looking for some spicy food, and situation you are currently in, like you are in a party, a gathering, or going for a meeting. They will decide which economics for you according to your feedbacks. And we later utilize this idea for the case competition or coursework. We analyze the customers' wants and their demands for different tastes, like if they want a bitter one beer or what beer with more alcohol content. We analyze all these figures and understand the coursework wants, and later we propose a solution for coursework after 24 hours. And 2 days later, we were notified that we were the top 20 teams from more than 300 teams in 60 countries. It was a great experience to understand different markets, and we believe without the help of what we learned in lessons, we may not be able to win this competition. So my major really helped us a lot, and we form teams with other students and communicate and cooperate.
Oh, so valuable, your experience, and so interesting of that. Okay. Next, okay, let me take some time. Well, most of you would try to ask, okay, what's the difference between the BSc Econ and the BBA Econ? Let me use this chart to illustrate. It's about the business core course at introductory level, and no matter you are admitted to the BBA Econ and BSc Econ, you have to study the intro microeconomics, okay, the principal accounting one, the introduction to the information system, the financial management, business statistics, and business ethics and individuals. BBA Econ students have to study the principal accounting too, operation management, marketing management, and organization behavior. But for these 4 courses, okay, the BSc Econ student will skip them, okay. Instead, they will spend their credit or their time on more the intermediate major courses, like you see the microeconomic theory 1 and 2, macroeconomic 1 theory 1 and 2, and you see the BBA Econ student, they only study 1 managerial micro and 1 in managerial macro. And in addition, on top, okay, BSc Econ student have additional math requirement. You have to study the mathematics for economists, or if you are aggressive enough, you can study the multi-variable calculus from the Department of Mathematics. And for the introduction to econometrics, which is the use of statistics in economics, okay, it's required for both. And I also mentioned before, at advanced level, before you graduate, you have to fulfill the ESON 4670, the economic research and communication. And for Bachelor of Science Econ, you have to study the intermediate finance, that means intermediate investment, and also you have to choose around 2 courses at the 4000 advanced level, make up total 6 credit. And for both of you guys, okay, the BBA Econ and BSc Econ, okay, you have to study 11 credit, around 3 courses at 4000 level for the economics electives. So to sum up, okay, whether BSc Econ or BBA Econ, I would say it totally depends on your personal interest and your career planning. For you to choose the BSc Econ, okay, well, you know, it's focused more on economics and finance, that's your interest in. At the same time, it's technically, mathematically, statistically more demanding. Therefore, it better prepared you in the career that require more technical skill, such like economists, data analytics, or some technical consulting. For the BBA Econ, you have more flexibility, you have more free credit, okay, so that you can choose another major. That means you have the flexibility to leverage on the synergy with another major. You can choose JUPAS, economics, or you can choose economics marketing. That's up to you. In this sense, you enjoy a much more flexible career path.
So let's start our Q&A session now.
For the first question, okay, is it important to study economics in secondary school so that I can handle university courses? What do you think?
Like for me, I study economics, but I also know that there are students taking economics major that do not really study econ before, maybe not even one econ or BA subject. But because in USC for all business students, you have to take introduction 3 level of microecon and macroecon, and that's when you realize your interest in econ or your ability to study econ, and then these 2 courses will prepare you for taking more difficult econ. So if you can handle these 2 courses, then you can still take the other.
The same case also applied to econ. There are also students didn't study economics in secondary school, but they are now econ students. So they're also performing very well, and they may need some more time to understand more difficult economic theory. But at the same time, they will ask about the TA, the teacher assistant, or ask the professor about those questions they are not understanding. So with all these help, they are also performing well in the current curriculum. So it is not, you do not need to study economics in university, and you can still get into econ or econ.
So the answer is no. Okay, you don't need to. Okay. So next question. What kind of student are you looking for? Any personality or requirements? Well, let me handle that. Okay. I would say we try to choose student on 2 sides. Okay. Of course. Okay. One, you should like economics. You have interest. You will have interest in economics. Okay. Second, okay, is I want you guys have an analytical mindset. As well, economics is a quantitative subject. Okay, emphasize a lot on logical thinking. So we really want people with their mindset. They love to think a problem step by step, try to find out the key factor, try to find out the interaction behind. Okay, so that's another thing. And from the other side, okay, we also want students, okay, they're ambitious, okay, they have something in their life they want to achieve, okay, positive, okay, yeah. So next questions.
So maybe student would like to know about when is the JUPAS interview and more about like what question will be asked in this interview. So when will be JUPAS interview is usually it's late April to early May for all SBM program. That is like no matter you choose BBA Econ or normal broad-based subject, you will be invited in this JUPAS interview. And maybe like most of the students, we would like to know what is the question usually asked during this interview.
Wow. Well, let me answer that. I have been an interviewer for quite some years, okay, for the JUPAS admission. I would say, okay, there's no definite answer, okay. It really depends on the interviewer. But one thing I can guarantee is, because students have different background, we try not to ask very technical questions at the beginning. We try not to ask technical questions, okay. So the question we try to ask is usually the purpose is to find out your thinking, okay. What you think, okay, your thinking ability, your mindset, okay, and also we try to find out your character, and of course, as I mentioned, very important thing is whether you really have the interest in that subject.
And also, more question for interview. How high a predicted grade will get me a chance for interview? So maybe for JUPAS, the school will select students who put SBM, HKUST SBM in Band A choice, and also you need to have a good internal school scores and profile, then we'll get you an interview.
So very important, applicants should put us at the back end.
Yes.
And we also have a JUPAS calculator for students to calculate the median scores or their score if they are appropriate, the score is high enough to get into the subject. So you may also check about the JUPAS calculator by UST.
Well, the next question is about M1, M2. Is M1, M2 or economics in DSE required for the admission to the ECOM program? Okay, and would applicants from the upstream be disadvantaged in admission? Okay, and the answer is very straightforward. M1, M2 and economics are not required for admission. Okay, but implicitly, okay, we do have a 1.5 weighting for M1, M2 or econ. Okay, for one of them, okay, when you calculate the score, you have a 1.5 weighting on that. Okay, so in this sense, we have a little bit advantage on that. Next questions about, well, any special learning experience you can share. Then I think you guys, okay.
Okay, so I do have some special learning experience. So in the UST, the University of Science and Technology, we utilize the science and technology, of course, and therefore we have an online platform for students to take extra courses, and which is, you may also have heard of it before, which is the Coursera. It is an online platform that UST will put different video courses on this platform, and students can take these courses. For me, I took 2 courses from this online platform, and it was short courses, short course, and you can study about the different topics. There are topics for science, for environment, and also architecture and mathematics. There are lots of different courses. You can take them according to your wants. And for me, I took some courses that about architecture and economics. So you will do different online quiz after you finish the course, and you got a certificate. This is this is my special learning experience online, and Melody will share some more.
Like besides academic learning, you also like being a university student, you can learn about like teamwork and then collaborating with others. So that's why I joined the students organization, and then I work as 1 year as the executive committee, and then we organize different functions, different events. For example, as you guys may know, is orientation program like orientation camp, and also we socialize with different people from the business world to try to make them to give resources to help our students. And besides like joining a student society, we also I will be going to an exchange in University of Amsterdam next semester, and then UST also enables us to encourage us to go to exchange to different institutions around the world, because we believe that like when you have a different environment, you will experience different learning experience, and also you can learn from people from different backgrounds.
Thanks. Next question is about what are the difference between ESOL, ESON, and I understand it's math and econ, right? The mathematics and economics, right? Well, to put it simple, okay, ESOL more focus on economics and finance, and econ, ESOL, BBA, econ, okay, it's more flexible for you to have double major. And mathematics and econ, okay, the cooperation of ops with the Department of Mathematics, okay, focus more in the math and econ. If you are talking about the technical requirements, okay, I would say the math and econ are kind of technically demanding, because almost half the course, okay, you have to study from the math department, okay. But eventually, I think the difference is not important. More important is your interest and your plan, okay? So you can choose a suitable one for you. So next question is, what are the difference between ECOF, okay, the BSc ECOF, and the BBA double major in econ and finance, okay? Okay, I see, okay. So let me do it, okay? Well, although both of them seems to be focused on econ and finance, okay, but the methodology would be a little bit different. As I mentioned, econ is a Bachelor of Science degree. We emphasize more on the math and statistics, modeling, that kind of technique, okay. It's the way we learn the econ and finance. But for the BBA econ and double major in finance, okay, although it's still econ and finance, but in terms of methodology of learning, okay, it's more business oriented. We discussed before, okay, for example, at the intermediate level, instead of study the macro theory 1 and 2, for the BBA econ student, you only need to study the managerial micro and managerial macro. Well, with the word managerial, that means when we try to teach, okay, we try to focus more the topics related to the managerial decision. So I hope, okay, my answer can can provide insightful information. Okay. Next question. Can student in econ take double major? Well, good news is yes. Although econ already, you can say it's already kind of double major in economics and finance. But in fact, okay, if for econ like you, okay, actually you can double major or in other programs in business school now, and also other programs in other school. Okay, for example, some students in econ, okay, they double major in computer science. Okay, well, up to you. Okay, so next questions.
Oh, so you would like to know more about interview, especially for the non-JUPAS students. And yes, there will be interview for the non-JUPAS student as well, and then it will be conducted from December to March. And for IB students, you particularly would like to know what are the requirements. And then for different program, you have different, right? For ECOF, BSc ECOF, the school expect an overall IB score of 40 with 6 in higher level maths. And for econ, BBA econ, the school accepts a standard level of math 2, but also expect at least a score of 6.
Okay, next question. Well, can students change their major after admission?
Oh, I may be the suitable person to answer this question because I changed my major after admission. When after finished my secondary school, I entered UST with the major of marketing. But later, and you can see that I'm now as a ECOF student. So firstly, to answer this question, yes, students can change their major after admission. So for students after entering UST, you also study different introductory courses with all the other business students without major for a whole year. So during this year, you can explore the course and the major of the other courses like finance, econ, accounting, and marketing. So for me, after I study a year of marketing, I realized that I like marketing, but it's not very suitable for me. And rather than that, I prefer more quantitative courses like econ and finance. So after my first year, I applied to change my major from marketing and economics and finance and I success. So students can change their major after admission. You can also understand more about different major after you admit to UST. Yeah.
Thanks. Next question. What are the program size of ECOF and econ? For the ECOF, BSc ECOF, for each year, the course size is around a total of 55. And for the econ, okay, the BBA econ, including the first major and additional major, it makes up a total of 100. For next question, is it true that BBA econ focuses more on theory? Why econ focus more on calculation? Well, let me understand this way, okay? Well, I put it this way. Both econ and econ focus on theory. As I mentioned before, theory is a way for us, okay, to learn something from the complex setting of the real world, okay? So it's an approach to train up students' logical thinking and analytical mindset. So that's true. But the difference is, okay, for BSc ECOF, okay, we emphasize more on the modeling. That means we really have more math requirement. But for the BBA econ, okay, we emphasize more on the application side. Okay, yeah, I hope, okay, I can my answer helped. Okay. And next questions. What are the criteria and GPA requirements for selecting major in ESOF and ECON if I get admitted to school-based? Okay, first, okay. So the question is if I get admitted by school-based and then afterwards, okay, to choose the major, is any GPA requirements? The answer is yes. Okay. But it also change every year. Okay. For ECOF, okay, roughly it's around, for the CJ is around 3.3. In UST we have 4.3 scale. 4.3 means a A plus, 3 means a B, and 3.3 means a B plus. And for the econ, okay, the CJ requirement would be around 2.6 or 2.7. Okay. So next question. Can I get to choose what hall to live in?
For or HKUST freshman student, you can guarantee to have at least one semester of housing, and then you can preferably you should choose the in-campus housing, and then you have 3 choices and you're good. And then so usually you will get one of the choices.
So which hall do you live that time?
I live hall 6 and also hall 3.
Hall 6 and hall 3. Okay. Well, next question. Can you tell us the career prospect for ECOF and econ graduates? Any differences in the career they choose? Well, we discussed before, okay? Seems that the major and your job, sometimes they not necessarily have 100% connection. Well, but as I mentioned, ECOF re-emphasize more on the technical training. That means math and statistics stuff, okay? So in this sense, okay, students, for those who choose econ, okay, eventually, more likely they will end up with more technical demanding jobs. And as far as I know, quite some of them get to be the economists. Some of them currently get to be the data analysts, okay? And for the econ, okay, well, it's flexible. Depends on your second major, your additional major. So the career choice varies, okay? So next.
So students would like to know, do most of the economic students would choose to further study after undergraduate?
Well, based on the statistics, okay, in the past, okay, more ECOF, BSc ECOF students will further their study. Well, even in the PhD degree, some of them master, but the trend changed, okay. Nowadays, even econ major, BBA econ student, according to statistics for last year, even for BBA econ student, there's more than 20% student, they further their study, but mostly in master level after their UT degree. So as I mentioned, okay, economics provide a very good quantitative training, and it's a very big advantage for you if after your UG degree you want to apply for a PG study, no matter master level or a PhD level. So think about that. So next question. Is it hard for school-based admitted students to major in MAEC or econ? Do you think so? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Okay. Well, as I say, it mainly depends on your interest and of course your ability, in the sense that since MAEC, the math and econ are more technically demanding. The math component is very high. Do you like mathematics, and can you handle that? And for the econ, okay, well, we have 100 quota, including the first major and additional major. So if you can achieve a minimum grade, okay, for the introductory level, economics and macroeconomics, you will be fine.
So for the last question, student may be not sure about if you want to do economics or finance major, and then ask like, should you apply through the broad base instead? And I believe that it may be helped if you take the broad base, because you will be exposed in different majors in UST first. And also we know that there are some major, for example, IS or marketing or operations management, like you don't really study in high school. So that's why you would like to come and have a taste of it before you choose.
And you may also, because we can change our major after we admit to UST after the first year, so you may not have to put so much pressure in selecting your major. It is fine to apply to the economics and finance major first, or you can also apply through the SPM first, because after the first year you will still have chance to change your major.
Okay, well, given the time, we have to wrap up here. Okay, for those questions not yet replied here, don't worry, we will follow up by email and provide you the answer. At the same time, if you want to find out more about the business school and UST, okay, please, okay, join our social media. And if you want to find out more about economics, okay, you see our email, the econ@ust.hk. Feel free to send us email, or you can visit our website. And again, okay, remember to join our social media. Our student ambassador are very happy and very glad to share with you anything about UST. Thank you. Thank you again. Yeah.